Here at Ngozi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. With me today, I have Claudia Passa and Shireen Groove. How are you, ladies?
Good, thank you. Lovely.
Yeah,
How are you?
Yeah, same here as well. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So our topic today is how to let go of bitterness from the past, reset. So in this powerful transformation video, we will guide you towards letting go of bitterness that has been weighing you down from the past. So have a cup of tea, guys. Prepare yourself for an enlightening journey as we unveil effective techniques for releasing yourself from the grip of past resentment and bitterness. And also, you will discover the step-by-step of breaking free, find true liberation from the clashes of negativity. Over to you, Claudia. I know you chose this topic. And normally when somebody at Ngozi Talk Shows chooses the topic as something is a journey where maybe they've gone through, or a client that you've met discussed about it, or it's just something that inspired you. So can you explain to our audience the motivation behind the topic? And yes, please.
Absolutely. Yes, it was more like an awareness, and we all are carrying still like unresolved stuff and things as well, situations, and just like everything from the past. And the good news is as well, yes, we can change those negative and unpleasant feelings and memories as well, or the bitterness as well, how we call it in the topic here as well. So we don't have to keep living with those unpleasant memories from the past. And there are ways for us to change and to remove ourselves as well from those negativities, so that actually we can step again into our full potential and feel whole again. And we need this as well, so that we can actually use all this energy where we might have kept, like some stuff is still like in the past and around some topics. But ideally, if we are free of them, we can take all our energy and focus on the future, on the goals and everything we would love to desire to create in our lives.
Thank you, Claudia. Shireen there?
Yeah, it is such an interesting topic, bitterness, especially when things don't go our way, rather in the sense of relationships, yeah, particularly when we may have bitterness towards ourselves, but often you see bitterness in marriages that have broken up, or partnerships that have broken up. And while you were talking, Claudia, the thought that started to kind of click for me was, what is the reason we hold on to bitterness? What's the intention of bitterness? Because it happens, but why? What is it? What is it that really goes on for us that causes us to hold on to something which can be so dysfunctional, so hurtful to ourselves, right? Why do we hold on when we could easily, or better still, let go? And there's something about that's for me quite interesting. And I was kind of pondering for a moment or two, and I thought, well, obviously there's something about, if we think about stress and we think about anxiety, we think about all sorts of things, there's always an intention behind everything. So what might be the intention that sits with bitterness? And I think it is about allowing us to keep regurgitating so that we can remember what pain we have gone through, right? It seems that we must that we're trying to prime ourselves to remember why. But if we think about what's the intention is always about what we want to do for the future in a strange, bizarre way. So we're trying to protect ourselves from something in the future happening where we would maybe even feel worse, right? Maybe even feel worse. So we hold this kind of regurgitating or this constant cycling of negative thoughts so that we can protect ourselves from the future. The problem is it causes the stagnation, doesn't it? It causes the stagnation. It keeps us stuck, and it actually forces us to go into I don't think the victim role, but it takes us into that state where we actually stay very, very stuck and we start imploding. And there's one thing that's really interesting. Bitterness in Chinese medicine is about affecting our liver and our gallbladder. And it's really interesting how the liver means live, life, right? To live. It's the only organ that totally regenerates. After, if you'd have a liver transplant or you have a give a lobe, within 3 to 4 months, that liver has completely grown back to normal. It's the only organ that we have that does it in humans right now. So it is about life. And yet this is the organ that gets so kicked in because it's the organ that's associated with resentment and bitterness and anger. So I'm really curious about how that is and how we use this particular organ in a sense of how do we hold the bitterness, and how does that impact us mainly in the area of our body. So yeah, there's the intention. There's this idea that bitterness is really trying to protect us on some level. But of course, the more we are bitter, the more bitterer we become, unfortunately. And then, what do we need to do next to change the glitch? Because now we've got something that's like a gear that's stuck, right? We're now like going uphill and we can't change the damn gear, because the bitterness has formed so much crud around that we can't shift it anymore easily. Not easily, but it is shiftable, of course, because we're human and we are able to shift. So yeah, so what did it remind you of, Namsa, when you saw it?
I love your comment with Claudia, and when Claudia says bitterness can, if we manage to step out into a bitterness, we can experience our full potential, and also letting go, we can be free, basically, from all this bitterness and stuff. And I like it, Shireen, when you say bitterness causes stagnation. It causes so much pain where you are trapped into this place. And you also asked, why do we like to hold on to it? It's kind of amazing thing, because we like to, like you mentioned, like marriage, when marriage ending, and also bitterness can come from family conflict as well, where families, they don't get along and they hold on to bitterness. I've noticed with myself when I started, like when Claudia put this topic, and I was like, this topic actually is one of the main points that we need to put on the boot camp when we start doing boot camp, because in order for somebody to move forward, they need to let go of bitterness, let go of anger. And also, Shireen, when you say marriages, relationships are the mainly cause of it. Sometimes you date somebody and you don't treat each other right, and then instead of letting go that person, unknowingly you hold on that unforgiveness inside, and then your soul gets trapped inside. Then that means there's a stagnation, you can't break through. Even when you try to succeed in life, whether business or work or relationship wise, trying to break free, to get into another relationship, it can be a battle, because within there are some things that you need to deal with. As soon as you identify that pain is the critical component of you're able to find that healing, you are able to actually move forward. I was doing some meditation. I was I was praying one day, like 3 weeks ago, and then I had my father in the Lord, Dr. Olukoya, saying, praying in tongues. When you pray in tongues for 3 months, it does help you see your life will change. So I was like, let me take this idea and just do it. So I started doing it. And when I was doing it, I was like, actually, I'm doing healing inside my inner soul. I could feel the freedom inside that it started feeling. I could feel that I cannot, like when somebody like says something to offend me, it doesn't stay with me. There's a disconnection with it. I am no longer connected to that. Even like, like I've been really Carol, and not being in a hospital has been a very unsettling feeling for me. So that feeling, I could see that is going away. There's a freedom inside of me. And I was like, I think when we do boot camp, we need to go through this process of healing your soul, because it is very, very important. I like it, Shireen, when you mention that marriages, that how it can hold us a captivity, and how we allow these things, the unforgiveness, to actually hold us back. I think it's very, very important for our audience that are watching, that there are steps of breaking free. And forgiveness is letting go of bitterness, and forgiveness is part of that. Because bitterness, what can you do if you're bitter? You can't. And for me, what I always say is, no one asks to be offended. No one asks for a broken marriage. No one asks to be treated really bad. But when that happened, I think you have to think about number one, which is the process of healing yourself and getting rid of that bitterness. So over to you, Claudia. If somebody is watching right now, and they'll be like, Claudia, Nomsa, Shireen, you have no clue what I'm going through, what this person has put me through, and you are telling me to forgive? I don't think so. What advice can you give that person with that mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually common. And I've been there too in the past, so I get it. I mean, first of all, as well, I would like to point out is, again, so we think we hold on to something as the bitterness. We hold on to it, as Shireen said, to remind us of someone did to us. So we hold on to it, but we don't understand by holding on to it, we first as well, we give our power away to the situation or to the person in the past. And secondly as well, we still carry this energy inside of us, which means as well, we will be attracting more of the same, maybe a different personal situation, but like this is very important as well to understand. To set yourself free is actually as well by having awareness of those things as well. And what was the question in regards to? Yeah, I'm not ready to forgive. Okay, yeah, I get this too. Sometimes we are not ready because this is personal, and the timing is always individual and different as well for people. Okay, so one thing I do with my clients when they are not ready to completely let go and to forgive is like, I ask them if it's possible for them to let go at least of the resentment. So this is like a first start, letting go of the resentment, because as well, again, it's been mentioned here, the word resentment, resenting something or someone as well. So again, here, this is a very heavy energy, very low energy, and ideally as well, you don't want to be living in this state for too long. So please, just like first steps, get awareness as well about it, and see as well that, yes, just like step by step, and you will know when you are ready to go the next step in regards to forgiveness. But to begin with, just see if you can let go of the resentment. What do you have to add, Shireen?
Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, I think what's really you talking about the state of readiness, and that's so pivotal, I think, in anything, in any form of trauma, because when you get hurt, you're traumatized, right? You've got all your rubbish that's happened from before. You've got this rubbish that you're carrying now, and it can be really overwhelming. It really overwhelms your system, right? And if you already are in a space where you've got an overwhelmed system, then it's very hard for you to truly think about how am I going to let go, right? So I think one of the key things is that very first thing, learn how to just manage your emotions, no matter what. So don't think of, one of the things I think, and I believe absolutely we must let go of the resentment. I think that's one of the key things. But I think there's some steps before that, which is really how do we manage ourselves? How do we, we're angry. And if we're angry and we're hurt, it's really important that we acknowledge we're hurt, that we acknowledge that we have been hurt and we're there. And we don't have to change anything because we're just acknowledging a feeling. And then to kind of start to step back a little bit. Once we've heard that it's okay to be angry, once we've heard it's okay to be bitter for a little bit, right? Bitter for a little bit, not bitter for a long bit. So don't make it a big word, make it a small bit. And I think that is a start. So part of just saying, okay, so you are bitter, right? So you are, and of course that would be because this is how you're feeling. And then allow yourself to just start acknowledging that this will start to pass as we start to bring your emotions into a different level. Because when our emotions are in a more regular, more calmer, more sensitive state, we have more ability then to bring that awareness that you were talking about, Claudia, that awareness of being able to look in and go, okay, what caused this? What's my part in this deal? How did I contribute to this happening, right? What am I ignoring? What am I not thinking about? Because it takes two to make an argument. It takes two to do things. What is it that I've also contributed here? Doesn't make it right. It just means that there are things that we need to look at so we can put those things in place and settle them within our body so that we can really get to be ready. Because you talked about the readiness. How do we know we're ready to let go? Is when we have a really strong feeling of a want to let go, even if it's a small little bit. Like I want to feel better, so I want to let go. I want to find something. I want this. Okay, so what little bit again, that we can let go of. So I love that you said, oh, let go of a little bit of resentment. So it may be that we could have something like a room with lots of little boxes, and we could say, okay, this one I can take out. So now I've got 99 boxes instead of 100 boxes. Okay, I'll let that one out. That'll give me a little bit of brain space so that I can just let that one be for 1 minute or for today or for a week or whatever. And then when we've got a little more courage, when we've got a little more, got used to that feeling of a bit of discomfort, then let's take another box, right? Until we're in a place where we're ready. And the crazy thing is that when we start to build our readiness or our state of readiness, actually it starts to have this double effect, a cumulative effect, almost exponential effect, that you start to, once you let go of one, almost suddenly it let goes of four, right? So you start to have this massive exponential effect, which I think is really wonderful. And I think it's so empowering to know that as a sense of knowing how our brain changes, how we change. Because the moment we do one bit of letting go, one tiny bit, that's enough to create a shift. So I love your readiness, and I love the idea of just doing one little bit of the bitterness. And maybe useful to think about this as small steps Neil Armstrong when he was on the moon, he said, one small step for man, but one large step for mankind. Each little step becomes a larger step for mankind. So each time you let go of a little bit of bitterness, each time you do one thing, allows you to make a bigger impression on the whole of the world. So this is where your soul gets excited, because your soul now says, hey, guess what? I'm going to be communicating and connecting with all those other souls, because now I don't have this bit to hold me back. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a really great journey. But I think that this is really a key thing, that readiness that you talked about, and mm-hmm. having a little bit to let go. What bit can we let go of first? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
I love resentment, Claudia, when you ask your clients to let go of resentment. I always laugh after with my clients when they come in, they have all this bitterness with their exes, and then a few months later, because they come in, sometimes they don't fit the matchmaking criteria of my clients, but I never send them back. I always make sure that they are okay and do the follow-up. And those who I do follow up and I meet them in person, I'm like, hey, tell me what was that all about, the first person that I met? Because when they tell you their story and they say that they're not being judged, and I'm just laughing, and like I'll just listen, and I'll be like, okay, this is the first time, what do I do? And this person is so bitter and stuff. So I just give them the tools to go home and do exercises. And then I'll be like, I'll do the follow-up after a few days. And then once they work it out, and they're like, sometimes they'll contact me first and say, I don't know what was that all about, Nomsa, what I was doing. But I'm like, yeah, it's fine. You have to acknowledge your feelings. You cannot ignore your feelings, because people seem to think that they have to be perfect. They have to feel okay. But if you are not feeling okay, you're not feeling okay. You have to acknowledge. I like Shireen when you say acknowledge the pain. That is very, very important. The first thing, to acknowledge the pain and not to feel ashamed about it, because we intend to feel ashamed. We intend to feel guilty when we are going through something, but someone out there wants to listen to us without giving advice. Sometimes with my clients, when they come to me, or I'll speak to them and I'll be like, I don't think, or sometimes I don't take people that are not working. Sometimes you have, with the Hope Spring, you have to have a job because of the kind of clients that I have. If you don't have a job, you've been laid off, I take you, is fine, because you're looking for work. So sometimes some people, they will come in and they have all these bitterness. They don't know what to do. They're like, I don't know, my relationship is just the same thing. And then I recognize my pattern. This is who I used to be. And then after a few months, we laugh about it, because that person that I met is no longer there anymore. It's just gone. And once you acknowledge your pain and letting go, like Claudia, of resentment, and also understanding the benefits of forgiveness is very, very important, and also shifting your perspective at the same time. And I like what Shireen said, that it's important that when we acknowledge our pain, we acknowledge that pain. Okay, this is what I'm going through. And then you shift your perspective, and then you practice the self-compassion. And after practicing self-compassion, you then have to make a conscious decision to forgive, because that is very, very important. Once you make a conscious decision to let go of whatever is in there, because the disc, our mindset, it collects everything. It's then up to us to make that decision subconsciously, whether we want to let it go or we want to keep that information and that pain. And also, and then once you decide, once the mind decides, and then you can just release negative emotions and then start working on your healing. And also the understanding the practice of empathy is very, very important, and setting boundaries. Boundaries are very, very important when it comes to releasing and letting go. If we don't have boundaries, it means the same people the same circle will keep happening. So once we set boundaries, the principles of life, these are my principles that I live by. So when Nomsa enters Shirini's life, Nomsa knows how Shirini wants to be treated. Nomsa knows the boundaries that cannot be crossed with the Shireen, because when I enter Shirini's life, like we are all at Ngozi talk shows, I have to understand Shirini's values. What are her values? What are her beliefs? And even when I'm talking to her, I need to understand that these boundaries, I cannot cross them, because otherwise this will happen. So if you send that message across, like you guys as coaches, you know how to communicate to yourself. This is who I am. These are my boundaries. But some people don't know how to communicate that. They will let people keep, like when it comes to relationship, people enter a relationship and they know exactly what they want. They let people take advantage of themselves. Family members, people will just let people take advantage of themselves. So it's very, 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 very important to actually live by your principles. Me, I keep things very, very simple. I was talking to my granddad, he died, and talking to my uncles and stuff. Everyone is telling me this, everybody is telling me that. So and then I said to them, it's simple, guys. Really, really simple. The life is, you just have to focus on who my granddad was and live by those principles. Anything else that comes, people create it or people come to you. I was like, you need to protect yourself and just know where you want to go in life. And those are my principles that I live by as a person, as a coach as well. When I meet my clients, I need to know what they are going through. And I need to understand their pain. Like Claudia, you say, if somebody is holding bitterness, quickly I need to see if this person, I can help them, or if I cannot help them, I make a phone call to somebody else. I have this person, this is what they are going through, or do you think you can help them? And sometimes I find I get stuck with clients because they're like, Nomsa, I don't think I want to work with somebody. Can I just work with you or somebody at Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency? I'm like, okay. Because the way when you don't judge somebody and you don't judge yourself as well. I don't know, Shireen and Claudia, if you met any clients that really judgmental of themselves, they judge themselves for what they are going through, or they've gone through the past, they've been hurt, but then instead of letting go, they're blaming themselves. That is my fault. I should have known better. What do you guys think? Have you gone through that path with the clients?
The thing is as well, again, when we are ready as well to look at as well the good things as well, because every situation, everything we have been going through has good things and not good things as well for us today, okay? And all those things as well have made us who we are today. And this awareness and understanding comes usually as well with time, and again when we are ready as well, after processing the emotions and just like accepting and just like being in it first, because again it's a process, as she explained. Absolutely. So it's about now, just like if you can see the lessons as well and the blessing as well here, because everything actually has a blessing for us. So if we can shift then as well the mindset from, okay, how has this worked for me rather than to me or against me? It's just like, again, a bit like shifting the mindset around these things as well. And this comes as well with awareness first and a bit of practicing so that we get there as well. It's just like going to the gym, we have to practice as well the awareness muscle here so that we can change the situation actually as well to our benefit and to the better in the future too. And something else I've said, oh yeah, I did have as well some clients in the past where I realized they are somehow attracted to the drama in their lives, you know, like they need this things happening to them so that they feel significance and importance and so on. So just would like you to be aware as well, if you are one of them, it's just like, I mean, obviously it's your choice as well to keep this habit, but like I chose, for me, I like it easy, you know, I like it easy and the lessons as well. And so that I can learn as well from other people's and from other people's mistakes as well, so that I get to learn my lessons too. This was a bit of a pact I did with the universe. And the thing is as well, where we hold on to the pain to get significance and importance, this comes as well a bit from the past, where we have the statues of the heroes in the town center and the gold medal and look what I did, I suffered in everything, but you know, now look at me, who I have become. It's just like, that's something I noticed as well. It's just like still being, but again, it's our choice. We can always change, and to let go of the stuff is just, we just have to it can be just one awareness, just like for us to be like, okay, I'm done with it, you know, I've got the realization, I'm done with it, I dealt with it, and just this awareness within us, because we have the power and we are the creators well of our lives. Anything to add, Shireen?
Yes, I love that. You are the creator, you are the creation of your life, which is really what I had when I had a spiritual download. I was told that. And so it is absolutely the truth, but it is about understanding, how does it work?
Yeah.
I think it's really important that people understand is that what we do, and we develop that muscle, which you were talking about, we have to build that mental muscle, that awareness muscle, so that we can get that sense of awareness enough to get that insight enough to be able to hold that energy enough so that we can continue with that, with a new pattern. Because if we don't have that, then it becomes like a thought, a fleeting thought, and it moves. We have to have enough energy for it to manifest. And we can think of this in normal science. We have most atoms have electrons that move around different orbits. And what happens is that an electron will move and jump 2 orbits. But when it jumps, when we have an illumination, when we have a realization, it's exciting and we have a massive jump. But we haven't got enough energy in the orbit that it's jumped over. So we come back down. If we understand this, then it means that we've got to build energy up, enough energy in our brain, enough muscle power. When we've got more muscles, healthy muscles, guess what? We can do more. It's the same thing. We can have greater awareness, greater ability to hold when we're in discomfort, greater awareness to shift that mindset, which you were talking about, because it is so important. It is a shift. It's just a shift away. It's just an orientation away. Mm-hmm. But we need to be able to stay orientated or have enough energy to keep the orientation so that we can do that. So I think one of the things which is so important is to make sure that you start with taking care of yourself, you know, really start to take care of yourself. I think it's the first thing you can do when you have bitterness. Start to try and find things that give you sweetness. Find the sweetness in your life. So when Claudia, you said, look for the blessings, look for the lessons. Those are where we find our sweetness, right? We look back and we see the blessing and we go, wow, okay, I've got food today, right? Wow, I get to sit here and I can be warm. Wow, I have someone that does listen to me occasionally. Wow, I have this. If we can start looking for the sweetness in our life, then the bitterness is easier to handle, so that over time, bitterness and resentment actually get diminished and we get the sweetness coming up. And we start to build our own sweetness, because we're now, the awareness gives us that sweetness, because our brain is naturally always trying to look for a future. It's always trying to look. I know it sounds really weird, but it is always looking for positivity on some level, because positivity helps our existence. It helps us feel alive. So we're primed neurologically to do that. The problem happens when we sit in the fear. So the moment we give ourselves sweetness, the moment we give ourselves self-care, we tell ourselves we matter. And it doesn't matter what that person has done to us. We matter. And I think that's so important, because from that moment, we can start to really pay attention to generating or giving ourselves more. When we have that sense of moreness, we have more ability to let go of what we don't need and don't want. And I think that that's such a valuable aspect of the bit that you were talking about, Claudia, which is about looking for the sweetness, looking for those sweet spots, the blessings, and see them like little pieces of candy. So if you think it may be easy, if you want to think about it this way, is think about, okay, this is a blessing. So, okay, I've realized this is a blessing. Wrap it up. Close your eyes, wrap it up in a nice sweet, and imagine you're opening it up and you're having it. Imagine you're tasting the sweetness in your mouth as you taste that lovely sweet of the sweetness of this lovely moment. And you might find that first of all, you'll relax. Second, you'll feel calmer. Third, you'll actually start to feel more energized, because now the sweetness, even though it's not real in the sense of a physical sweetness, will automatically have energized your soul. And your soul will feel the sweetness. And that's the part that you want. You want to give your soul energy so that your soul can do the work for you. And that's kind of where I am right now. It was a very somber moment that I went to. I don't know why it went there, but it did.
Yeah.
I love that, Carol Ann, when you talk about self-care. Self-care is very, very important. You mentioned that your self-care means I matter. Like if I take good care of myself, it means I'm putting myself first. And I know that I matter, and I know that my life is a blessing. I think that is very, very powerful for anyone that is watching. And I also love, Claudia said in the past, you met your clients that are attracted to drama. I've met so many people that are attracted to drama, and sometimes they talk to me. I'm like, are you serious? Don't you have anything to do? I don't want no drama in my life. Where there is drama, I run as much as possible if I can, honestly, because the self-care is very, very important. Having that free soul is very, very important. And when I'm going through this healing process, praying in tongues, I've just realizing that actually every time the person gets offended, or they get rejection, or they get like a hurt, the pain in their heart, that means that the soul gets fragmented. the soul is no longer free. It feels like your soul has been captured. So you then have to release yourself from that fragmentation so that you can be free. But if you are somebody like Claudia, who's Claudia saying attracted to drama, then the more you attract your life to drama, the more you get fragmented more and more and more in a way that sometimes you can't even cope with life. So it's very, very important to know that every step of the journey that we go through in life, there's gonna be disappointment in life. There's gonna be pain. There's gonna be so many things that we'll have to go through. But instead of holding that person, because when you hold those who have hurt you, and inside your heart, you're still letting them win. But when you let go, the beauty of letting go is choosing, like what Sharina was saying, that I choose me, that I matter in my life. I choose to be free. Even in relationship, when you date somebody and things don't work out well, know that you're gonna be okay. Nothing, even God, he was disappointed, he was rejected. So who am I to think that I'm not going to go through rejection? Who am I to think that I'm not gonna get hurt in life? So when we do get hurt, it is how we respond to that bitterness, and so that we can be free and to choose ourselves and say, I am the creator, like Claudia, you were saying that we are the creator of our destiny. If we cannot create the destiny that we want, who is going to create it for us? Not even a coach. I always say to my clients, when you come and register to my agency, you get out there. I'm not there. You cannot blame me when things go wrong. You cannot blame me to say, oh, no, sir, this guy is not right, but I paid the money. I always say, be in the present moment. Listen to what is being said. If somebody says something to you, you know exactly what you desire in life. And if it's not what you desire, what you want, no matter how handsome they are, no matter how beautiful their boobs are, how they're shaped, or how they're shaped is so beautiful, please run. I will always say run. Do not stay. Just because somebody has beautiful body or somebody has money, I'm always say to them, when you select somebody, there's loads of things you need to think about. When I'm arguing with this person, will they be able to actually listen to me? And when they're listening to me, how, like, I'm taking them to my mom and dad, how would they respond to my parents? How would they respond to my siblings? Because any person with compassion, when you meet them, you just know that this person, by anyone that you're not 100%, why dating that person because they have money and thinking things are going to be okay later? And then when things go wrong, we go through bitterness, we go through so many things. So it's very, very important to everyone that is watching, take Sharina's advice. I matter the most. My children matters. My life matters. Claudia, she says, be the creator of your destiny. That's my favorite slogan, guys. You are the creator of your destiny. Even with God, you get to choose whether you follow God or you don't. God, when it comes in and say, here's your destiny. Do you want to take it? Your blessings, life is a blessing. You get to decide at that moment whether you want to take those blessings or you don't. Like Sharina said, life is a blessing. If you go through relationship abuse, if you manage to get out of it, don't get bitter or blame yourself or blame the person that has put you that. The only focus for me personally, I would say focus on you matter. I matter the most. I've been able to get out of this situation. So what does my future hold for me? Your future is a beautiful beautiful future waiting for you to create it. But you get to choose either to fall and be in that stagnation, or you get to choose to get out and set yourself free. That is my thing. I love the process of healing. It is so beautiful. I don't know how you guys do your healing, but myself, I just love it. I love to go into prayer. I love fasting. I love praying in tongues. And I love to call God and say, God, if my life is messed up, or if somebody has offended me, or if I don't really know where to go, or people let me down, like in business, I just call upon him and say, you know what? I quote everything that says in the Bible regarding that situation and say, you say this, God, I don't want to put you in shame. Can you please come to my aid and help me? Show me the way, because my way is no good. I don't know how to let go, even if it's anger. I don't know how to let it go. It hurts. I say the words the way I'm feeling. I don't ignore my feelings. If it hurts, I tell him that it hurts. I feel ashamed, but I don't know why I'm feeling ashamed. I feel fear. I don't know why I'm feeling fear. Can you wipe away this fear that I'm feeling? Can you take away my shame that I'm feeling? Or if it's business, sometimes we can feel fear that maybe if things don't work out in business, people will laugh or what. And then God tells me, let them laugh, Nomsa. Let this person, let it go. And I find that I end up finding the way. But when I hold something, I don't break through. But when I decide to let go, opportunities open. So I don't know about you, Shireen and Claudia. I love to hear your stories, guys. What do you guys do? Process of healing.
We just see. Okay, yeah. My process actually is okay. I would look at the situation, at what it's been going on, and then I would see as well, like I would look at the lessons. Okay, what did I learn here? What is the good stuff about this as the outcome? Get aware of the lessons, and as well the not so good stuff about it as well. Just like to understand what has been the learning for this as well. And then in regards to not again to attract the same type of energy, you do want as well to do some self-forgiveness as well in regards to for you to let go of your part as well you played in this situation. Or sometimes as well it's been some misunderstandings, like we have formed some misunderstandings about the situation, about what has been going on, but then it's as well important to understand and to let go of it and to forgive ourselves as well. And if we are ready as well, to do this with us and the other person too, because we don't want to be again dwelling in the past. And this includes as well for things like regret, when we feel like certain regret in the past, or being rejected as well. This is as well like being rejected, the job offer, the promotion, a relationship, and so on. So these are again like energies which keep us hold more in the past, and we don't want this again. This is all energy we are spending or giving away for something which is done. It's done and dusted, and we can't change it anymore. But again, if we understand this, that we are giving away our power to something which we can't change anymore, and if we can take the power back to us and let go, then again we've got all this energy to create the things we desire to have or to be in our lives. Don't know. Shireen, you? What's your process?
I think it happens, it's different, but I think one of the biggest main components of the processing is naming the feeling and honoring the feelings first. So really just honoring them, looking at them, thinking about them, because feelings all feelings have a process. So if you think about how emotions are, there are the 6 main emotions that Ekman gave us that throughout all of humanity and even animals have, which is sad, scared, glad, mad, angry, surprise, and disgust. All of those 6 emotions often happen in a moment. So it's really important to understand that until we can get to the sadness, because our body is trying to not let us go there because it's horrible. But if we can get hold enough, so we can process enough to say, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm disillusioned. But then you stop and you get to that sadness. When you get to there, you can process, because once you've got to sadness, you've got rid of all the extra energy that is literally doing what you call an attractor, Claudia. It holds everything so that other things keep coming to you until you can process that and get to the sadness of what is really sad about the situation. Only then can you really switch it to get to healing. So only then can you actually turn around and say, well, you know what? This is really sad, but I'm glad that I have this. I'm glad that this, here's the blessing, here's this. So for me, it really is about really venting whatever I need to vent so that it's not, it's not there in my environment. And then I get to that feeling, which is so, so very important. And then once I'm there, I can do all the processes. I can look in awareness. I can look and pay attention to my part in the deal. Have a look at all the aspects, but now I'm not angry. Now I can look at it from the place that allows me to see that if I'm at fault too, if things are at me, that means that, this is a collaborative kind of thing. So therefore, I can only but have compassion. And really then look at how I can bring compassion back to myself. So yeah, it's easier to see somebody else and be compassionate, because I think for most women, certainly, I'm not saying all women, but most women, we're primed to be compassionate, right? We're primed to think for other. So we don't often put self-compassion first. It's then to kind of flip it back and say, of course you're angry. Of course that's happened. Of course, that's understandable. And really spend time acknowledging and being compassionate to yourself. Give yourself that sense of love, because from that moment, you can then start to plan the next route. Okay, this is what it is. I'm going to sit here for a little while if I have to, because sometimes we have to wait in the silence to hear. So like Namsa, you say you pray. I also pray. I think I spend a little more time just focusing in on the things I have to do so that I can actually help my brain to kind of build a little, because what's happened because I'm angry is kind of like the resources have gone down. So I need to build, I need to feed it, I need to give it energy so that it can think properly for me, right? And then once I get to that, I feel inside me. So there's a really deep sense of, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready to, I may get a dream. I may just get an insight. I might get something that's saying, okay, now you must do this. Now you can do that. So that's that moment where I'm used to it. I kind of know when it is. I can feel something being lifted off me, literally. And that's when I make that move to do the next step. So and it is a process. And I think what's really important is to understand that for what we're all saying here is there is a process, and we have to do that process, and we have to find our process that works for us, right? So I think if you spend a little bit of time doing some of the stuff that we've talked about, then find what works for you so that you can understand. First, you've got to name, certainly, you've got to identify with what's going on. That's kind of the minimum. You've got to get rid of all the excitement of the drama, because it's nice to be angry sometimes. It's nice to be self-righteous. They did this to me. It's got a lot of energy in it. but that energy is often not helpful energy. We want the energy of the surge energy, not the fragmented energy, because the fragmented energy can't do anything. But the surge energy is that constant flow moving forward, like a river moving towards the sea. And it can go into the sea because it has a surge. So I think that that's really what's sort of sitting with me on how, how I would process it and how I do process.
It's very important what you guys are saying, that like Shireen, what you're saying, that you go to a place where sometimes you pause and then you listen to your inner being, and then you listen, and then you start sometimes it will be like, no, don't do it, or do it. Can you imagine if you were in a place where there is drama always? You wouldn't be able to cope with, to have that feeling of knowing what's gonna happen. Or sometimes like I'm in a place where when I pray, like if I'm gonna do it, like I find the other week I was praying and fasting and my grandmother is saying his goodbye, and I was like, God, do I have to go through this? Do I really have to go through this? And then when he died, when I received the news that he died, I didn't cry. I was like, oh, okay, this is going mad. But only to realize that I had already in my subconscious accepted his death, because I'm praying to God, and God is telling me to have this closure. And it was like so beautiful. And when you go into a place where you don't want no drama in your life, it's not that you don't want no drama. Drama is not healthy for anybody. And also, if you are in a relationship, those who are in a relationship, they make an excuse for people. If you know that you're dating the wrong woman or dating the wrong guy, making an excuses. For me, I'll say just get out, because it does not get better. The drama does not get better. Or even the disappointment. Sometimes the people will enter a relationship and they know that that relationship is not good for them, and they will just stay. But deep down inside, they develop this bitterness. They're dating somebody, but they are also bitter at the same time. And they like this idea of being in a relationship, but it's not working. For me, I just say get out. It's not easy. But find a place where you can forgive yourself, and just work on your inner being, and just get out of a relationship. Or if you are somebody who is at work, you are in the wrong job, you feel you're not happy, just do something about it instead of being bitter. Put yourself first. Self-care is very, very important. And acknowledging, Shireen said, acknowledge the pain, where the pain comes from. For me, this is what I always do. Before I can blame anybody else, I look within myself first. I just pray. If you find me, sometimes my children will be like, Mommy, can you please pray just like in everybody else? When they've got problems, they know Mommy can sort it out. That's when they say, Mommy, you know that thing you always do? Can you please pray for me based on this? I always pray. I always put God and say, God, you know what? I just put it all out there, because I know that no one can speak for me. And if I'm going through pain, I acknowledge that pain before I can just go and blame anybody else and say this person, that person. I just look myself within, and I find that I free myself. And once I free myself, then I get to find a way how to deal with that person that has hurt me. And you may find that God will just go and do the work for me, and just maybe just give them something to do and keep them busy so they forget all about me and they move on with their lives. And that's all you need in life, to actually be able to forgive and be able to let go of that bitterness and be able to free yourself from that stagnation. Because if you are your soul is fragmented, then you wouldn't be able. Our winning spirit man is inside of us. Is the spirit within us. The spirit within us is the spirit that helps us to come up with ideas. It helps us to get up in the morning, to have strength where there is no strength. It helps us to find hope where there is no hope. But if that spirit is fragmented, that means you enter the depression, the anxiety, you wouldn't be able to cope. So it's very, very important. Like sometimes when my pastor always say, you need to call yourself out to wake up. And I was like, what is that all about? Why do I have to call me to wake up? And then I find that when I do deliverance for calling myself, I get more like alert of what is happening, because sometimes we live in this world where we are so busy, too much stress at work, the children, the family thing, and then you end up so busy. So you need that healing very often. And also the forgiveness, actually, it's not about the people that are in a relationship problems. Forgiveness, it could be just asking for like takeaways. Like you ask somebody, let's have a takeaway in the house. If you don't win the battle, somebody else says Chinese, and then you feel offended. You're like, I wanted pizza. And why do you guys always get winning the thing? So you can ask for work on that healing each and every single day. That's why we, as the coaches, we always suggest to meditate every day. And when you meditate, you feel more alive, you feel more awake. I don't know if you guys, you meditate. For me, it's journaling, meditation. I meditate in the Word of God. I pray, I listen to my music, I ask God to guide me through life, to dance my song, because I don't want to hold the bitterness to dance somebody else's song. The minute you hold the bitterness, you are no longer in control with your destiny. Somebody else takes over your destiny. That's why people say, I am who I am because of my first marriage, my relationship. But don't let your first marriage guide you through life. You need to be in control. You need to dance your dance. You need to sing your song. You need to heal your soul. Your soul needs to guide you through life. Get creative. And that's what I can say, guys. Any words of encouragement, Claudia and Shireen, before we leave?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So I think,
or if you have a comment before that, you can comment, please. Feel free.
Yeah. Yes, please. And the worst, the most thing today, the most word I've heard is self-love, and to put yourself first, and you do matter. Absolutely. So again here, and please let go of all the misunderstandings where you think that doing so is selfish. So it's not, because when you look actually at the word self, it means self first. So it's not selfish. So let go of this misunderstanding. Thank you.
Yes, interesting. I just how, I don't know why thoughts just jump up in the way they do, but they do. Mm-hmm. But I think of the selfish, what Jesus is always emulated as a fish. The spirit is the fish that swims in the sea, and the sea of truth, the sea of understanding. So if we are the self-fish, we are fishing within the sea of the self. So think about it like that. I just love working with words, but that's it. And I think, yes, again, the same thing, the idea of what selfish means is somebody else's desire to control you. So it's about really shifting that perception of what selfish means. It means I'm the self focusing inside into the sea of myself. So I think that's a really interesting way of looking at it. Don't know why that just popped up for me, but it did. Mm-hmm. So yes, I think the most important thing, which is as we talked about with self-love, I think the most important thing as well is to do what Claudia says, is have this deeper awareness. We need awareness. We need clarity. We need focus, and we need to base that in a practice that allows us to communicate and connect with our soul, Doesn't matter what that practice is. It may be dancing, it may be journaling, it may be, but it has to be something that you are connecting intentionally with, not just disappearing, intentionally with, so that you can feel that you are in a space of doing some form of release or some form of work. So I think that this is the real care. That's like with meditation, even though a lot of people don't necessarily like it because it's quieter, but we can meditate even with walking. We can meditate even with dancing, but it's about the focus and concentration that we focus on that gives us the meditation, that gives us the shift and the change in our brain, which then gives us the freedom which we desire.
Offer to Shireen and Claudia. For me, I leave you guys with what Claudia said, which is my favorite thing. You are the creator of your destiny, and you can sing your dance. You can sing your song and sing your dance how you like it. You can harmonize it, harmonize your life. Do whatever you feel is right for your life. If NOMSA didn't make you, NOMSA cannot make you bitter. I don't have a right unless you give me that right and you sign your signature and give it to me of bitterness. So I don't have a right to make you angry. Anybody that enters your life has no right to make you angry. You get to decide how you going to respond to every wrong that has been done to your life. God bless everyone. And if you want to connect with the NOMSA Shireen and Claudia, please go to www.hseia.com. And you can go to, if you're looking for love, you can sign up for relationship. If you are looking for coaching, there's a part for coaching. And just get in touch. You can see the calendar there if you want to connect with us, or simply we are on social media, guys. So you don't have an excuse. If you go on social media, there's an office number there. You can get in touch with me in my office, and I'll connect you with whoever the coach you resonate with. And there's an email address there. You can get in touch with me as well. So you don't have an excuse to say, NOMSA, I love to find my own voice and work with the bitterness. And also, we're going to start doing the boot camp. And the boot camp is all gonna be all about finding your own voice, but not in an easy way, because some people believe that when you do personal development is all lovey-dovey. No, it goes with having to confront the feelings that you don't want to confront in life. Or such as bitterness, your childhood attachment, you name it, the list goes on. So we're going to start doing that, and you can just keep an eye on the adverts when we start doing it, so you can follow. It means you have to buy the ticket and go somewhere, either it might be United Kingdom or outside the United Kingdom, Africa maybe, or America, anywhere in the world. So that's where where God wants us to be. That's where we're going to be. God bless everyone and live with grace.